Hi, my name is Marlena Brown and I live in Austin, Texas. I have a story to tell you about something that happened to me last summer. I took a tour through the Myrtles Plantation, which is reportedly one of the most haunted bed and breakfasts in the United States, if not the world. And it was early evening, walking around, looking at the property. The sun's starting to set. It's in Louisiana, so I already have the big trees and the hanging moss and the weathered statues, and it's just the perfect location for a haunting. I'm looking around. I don't really see anything, but I meet a woman out on a path who says that she can see the ghost of a little boy standing on the other side of the water. I can't see him, but she seems convinced that she can, so I can accept that. So we go inside. The Myrtles Plantation has a lot of tours going on, and I'm with two of my children, my 8-year-old and my 14-year-old. We go inside, we get ready to follow the tour guide. He's a very outgoing, rambunctious sort of guy. Uses his hands a lot when he talks. Great storyteller. He's obviously an actor on the side. So I'm basically prepared to just enjoy the evening listening to a good story told by the tour guide, following a script that someone had no doubt written for him. So we go off on the tour and we're going along the hallways of the house, and we're going very slowly because they only show probably about 4 rooms of the house total. And there's a whole upstairs that they rent out that the people on the tour don't get to see. So we start off in this one bedroom downstairs, and we crowd into this little room, and we're all standing around a bed. Now, since I'm kind of short, I'm right in front of the bed, and the taller people are behind me. And the bed is made up in an old-fashioned way. It has a kind of like a velvet cover, and since it's right in front of me, I can see that the cover has been pulled very tight. So it's very smooth. It looks like it's just been made. And I'm standing kind of right at the corner, and the tour guide is talking. He's talking about the history of the house and the 2 little girls that were murdered there by the what was a slave at the time who was having an affair with their father. So he's telling the story, and I'm just getting into it and kind of feeling the whole feeling of the house and listening to a great storyteller. But the story's sort of long, so I'm looking at him, I'm looking around the room, I'm looking at the furnishings, I'm looking at the bed. Quite often I was looking at the front of the bed because it was directly in front of me, and there were people kind of all around otherwise. So at one point during his story, I look down, and there is the distinct handprint of a child laid on the bed and hands spread, fingers run across the cover. You could see where there were 4 fingers and a thumb, the line of all of it, and then a handprint where it looked as if a child had pressed down before walking away. And since it wasn't there a moment before, I kind of just stood and stared. I could not believe what I was seeing, and I couldn't say anything to anyone or my children because it would have been rude to interrupt the tour guide, who was still going on and on about this famous Halloween party that was thrown at the time. So I'm just standing there like, the biggest thing I wanted to do was to share the story with someone, and I couldn't say anything. So his presentation went on at least another 10 to 15 minutes, and the whole time I'm just, shaking. I can't wait to say anything. And he finally finishes, and I pointed out to my children, I say, look, there's a handprint. But they hadn't noticed that there wasn't one before, so it wasn't as exciting to them. But I left that house with no explanation for how that handprint appeared on the bed. So it's pretty exciting. I've done a lot of investigations. I've been to cemeteries and haunted houses and hotels and motels, and in my spare time I shoot cemeteries just for fun. I like the statuary. I like the feelings of peace that I find in a cemetery. I've noticed when I go in with a group, say one of the paranormal groups that I've kind of hung around with from time to time, that all the ladies will say, "Oh, I feel something, do you feel something?" And I try really hard and I just don't feel anything. So it was really exciting for me to see the handprint that day, because I may not feel anything, but I saw something. Anyway, thank you for listening to my story.